Well folks, he's done it again. The man who thinks windmills cause cancer and that he won the 2020 election has somehow managed to outdo himself. On January 20th, 2025, President Trump, in his infinite wisdom, and by infinite wisdom I mean the opposite of that, signed an executive order aiming to end birthright citizenship in the United States. That's right, you heard me correctly. No more of that pesky 14th Amendment guaranteeing citizenship to anyone born on US soil. According to Trump, if your parents strolled across the border without the proper paperwork, you're out of luck. You're not American. You don't get a slice of apple pie. And you certainly don't get to be president one day, which, let's be honest, is probably for the best. Now I know what you're thinking, but John, isn't that, unconstitutional? And to that I say, hold my beer. The short answer is, probably not. The slightly longer answer is, this executive order is about as legally sound as a chocolate teapot. You see, that pesky little thing called the 14th Amendment has something to say about all this. You know, the one ratified in 1868 after a little kerfuffle we like to call the Civil War. The 14th Amendment clearly states that anyone born in the US is a citizen, plain and simple. It doesn't say, unless your parents snuck in through the back door, or unless your ancestors weren't here for the Boston Tea Party. It's pretty straightforward, even for a document written centuries ago. Naturally, the ACLU, and a whole bunch of other folks who can actually read and interpret the Constitution, have already filed lawsuits against this executive order. Because, that's what happens when you try to bypass the very document that defines your country's laws. Now, let's talk about hypocrisy for a second, shall we? Because nothing screams irony quite like a descendant of immigrants trying to slam the door shut on, immigrants. You see, our dear leader's own grandfather, Friedrich Trump, immigrated to the US from Germany back in the 1880s. I guess some immigrants are just more equal than others, eh? And let's not forget about the whole land of the free thing, because, this land wasn't exactly empty when the Europeans decided to set up shop. We seem to have conveniently forgotten about the millions of Native Americans who were already here, living their best lives before being subjected to centuries of genocide, displacement, and cultural erasure. So, before we go patting ourselves on the back for being a nation built on immigration, maybe we should take a long, hard look in the mirror and acknowledge the inconvenient truths of our past. All of this, of course, begs the question, what the hell is going on in our government? We've got an administration riddled with scandals, from alleged sexual misconduct to questionable financial dealings, and yet no one seems to be held accountable. It's enough to make you wonder if the rule of law even applies anymore. And don't even get me started on Ivana Trump's untimely death, a fall down the stairs, at her age. Look, I'm no detective, but something about that whole situation just doesn't sit right with me. But hey, who am I to question the official story, right? In the end, all we can do is stay informed, hold our elected officials accountable, and fight like hell to protect the values that this country was founded on. Because if we don't, then we're no better than the very people we claim to oppose.